Now let's talk about the Operation films. And specifically Dante Lamb's Operation Mekong and Operation Red Sea. Now, I have to again apologize to poor Wilco when he was asking me, Dan, which movie should I watch? I said, mate, watch Red Sea. Don't worry about Mekong. And I've made the gravest of grave errors, which hopefully Eric will explain why it is a grave error. But let's start with Operation Red Sea, fellas. No. Well, yeah, we'll have to start with Red Sea because Wilco hasn't seen Mekong. Eric, what did you think?
I liked it. I liked it quite a bit. I think it. Well, first of all, I think the cast is good, and it's almost like one of those movies where it has so much action that it becomes exhausting. It's after I'm done watching the film, I feel exhausted, but I feel like it's kind of in a good way. I do like the. In terms of desert warfare, it's a pretty cool flick. You get like stronghold infiltrations, you get hostage rescues, tank battles, sniper duels. The sniper duels are pretty sweet with the villain kid character. That was pretty neat. Helicopter assaults, drone strikes, all kinds of stuff. I really liked it. In terms of characters, like the first half of the movie, it was kind of hard to like really distinguish them in terms of them not getting individual moments. But I think as the movie goes along, they end up breaking up and having like individual moments and goals, which kind of helps that out a little bit. And plus, I'm a huge fan of Lucia Zhang, who's been around for like 15 years now in the industry. She's been in a few good flicks, kind of like martial arts movies, and I thought she came off quite well in this. She was pretty tough. And obviously there's some serious violence in this flick, and I kind of appreciated it because it gets pretty harrowing, which we'll talk about. But yeah, and this you could feel the budget in this one too. You know, it's a lot of support from the military. You could tell in this film, and I don't know. I just find it to be really just kind of a thrilling, just balls to the wall, Desert Storm style action flick. I liked it.
Wilco?
Well, personally, my opinion on this is kind of twofold. On one end, personally, I don't like these type of films, which are strategic military movies like Black Hawk Down, and although Saving Private Ryan is a big movie, no, that's a bad example.
Say anything bad about it?
No, Saving Private Ryan is a good movie, but it's like, but it's a good story movie also because it's a Spielberg movie, but. No, I mean those like Black Hawk Down type of movies. And you have a lot of these military strategic movies where you have constant shots of convoys and a guy with uniforms taking their place in order to, accomplish their missions. And personally, I don't like these movies, but that's just from a personal point of view. I just cannot get into them. I do recognize this as a movie with high quality. It is non-stop action, so it's even worse than Wolf Warrior 2 because the story is one sentence. It's Chinese saving Chinese in a foreign country, Chinese military saving Chinese in a foreign country. That's the whole story, and then just the whole 2.5 hours is that mission. It's brutal. It has good gore. For me, it was kind of a chore to watch because of the lack of story, and what Eric said was the point that actually that was the reason why I couldn't get into it, because it took an hour for me to distinguish everyone, to know who was who. And then sure, there are little moments here and there, and it does get better when you're in an hour, because after an hour you're kind of part of the family at that point, let's say. So you become desensitized and who you're with, so it gets better. But because I personally don't like these type of films, it was a chore for me to get through the first hour. But after that, I stayed for the gore. Let's say it was good gore. It was brutal as hell. It was. I missed the story, but it was a high quality movie. I'll give it that. And then I have to make a little comment on the patriotism. And in my opinion, is it patriotic? Because in all honesty, it's just a military movie made by Chinese. Like, what do you expect them to lose? I mean, of course, it's going to be patriotic. It's the Chinese military. It's a Chinese movie about the Chinese military. But I must say one thing, and I don't know if that helps with the patriotism. Like the Wolf Warriors had all this high-tech stuff that make me think, yeah, but that's not patriotism because it's bullshit. But with this one, all their missions fail. Sure, the big mission is works, but basically, just like Saving Private Ryan, which I think it has a lot of touch points with, they get fucked up. And everything they do kind of fails before it works. So every time they do something, it kind of like the tank sequence. You know, they take out one tank and then immediately they get taken out. It's like nothing works. Everything goes wrong. Like they're losing people left and right. At the end, there are only 4 people, and they still go back into battle because they have to do one more thing, and then it becomes all of a sudden a more standard action movie, because then it becomes ridiculous of them one-on-one fighting bigger guys than them. But while it starts realistic, it kind of, goes action movie later on. But I must say that that is interesting writing. And I noticed that in Wolf Warrior 2 that a lot of their strategies don't work and that they get fucked up beyond like a lot. So I thought that was an interesting point of it. So that's my twofold. Personally, I don't like them, but I do recognize the quality, the budget, and the good points about it. It's just that the first hour for me is a real chore.
I'm going to take a little bit from Eric's column and a little bit from your column, Wilco. I love these types of action movies. No doubt about it. These are my bread and butter type action films. But I didn't like this film because it had no story. And a lot of people are going to disagree with me here, but I've seen it twice now. And if you asked me to summarize the movie, I can't tell you. I don't know where to start and how to end it. I think that I love Zhang Yi. I think he is a brilliant actor. I don't like him in this film. It just doesn't work for me that he is this super strong military leader on the battlefield. I like him better in The 800. I like him better in The Sacrifice, even though I hated The Sacrifice. I liked him in that. I don't like him in this film. I think Jung Hung Yu was completely wasted by having him sit in a control tower for the entire film, whereas in Mekong, he was active and out on the battlefield alongside the awesome Eddie Peng, whose the photos are coming up now. Wilco, the first movie, Mekong, doesn't have the issue of the second movie. Everyone's recognizable. You know whose everyone's role is in the film. You know what part they play. In this one, in Red Sea, I had to actually rewind the DVD towards the end, or the Blu-ray towards the end, because I actually thought the lady Li Tong was the one who was killed when her fingers fell off. And the next scene, she's driving the Range Rover. And I'm sitting there going, hold on, that's too big of an F up for a movie like this to me. So I had to rewind it back and realize, no, it's just the other character that looks very similar to her, but male. And I was really starting to get out of it. I was getting gore fatigue. I don't need to see limbs getting blown off. I don't need to see the bus full of heads and the gore. I love horror movies. Don't like the gore in this. And again, it's the same reason I dislike The Sacrifice. Watching the guy body explode. I get it. War is not pretty, but the violence in this movie just didn't do it for me. Didn't. I'm sorry, guys.
But Mekong was before Red Sea?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
you
Mekong,
made me watch the sequel, goddammit.
Well, I remembered them incorrectly. I actually thought Red Sea was the better of the two, but thinking back on it, I think Mekong has a much more structured story. Wouldn't you agree, Eric?
Yes.
Yeah. And it has a cool dog in it as well. I love the dog from Mekong, and I think the main bad guy in Mekong is also incontinent, if I remember correctly. Is he? Is the guy that's always on drugs?
Yeah.
I keep thinking he's incontinent. But Mekong has this awesome bit where they destroy a raised village in the middle of the jungle. That looks cool to me. That final fight in Mekong felt more structured to me than that second final fight in Red Sea, where they're trying to rescue Mei Ling, the Chinese hostage. And like you said, Wilco, they completely F it up every single time. Johnny Huang, I believe the only reason Johnny Huang was cast in this film was to get the teenage girl audience in, because he has no right to be in this film at all.
Which
Prove
one
me
is
wrong. He's this arrogant sniper.
Okay.
Yeah.
The new one. Yeah. Okay. The sniper.
Yeah. Whereas I think Eddie Peng did that whole teenage girl thing in the first movie, but I can relate to. I think Eddie Peng's awesome.
Yeah.
And of course the third movie, which probably should have been Operation Red Sea 2, which ended up being The Rescue, kept Eddie Peng there. There was clearly Dante Lamb was clearly wanting to use his budget to make another Red Sea. And now that I know what you both have told me, he just quickly shuffled that around and made another one of those heroic Chinese serviceman movies, which we saw with the Bravest, with the Captain, with SWAT, with now the Chinese doctors. That China has a habit of glorifying their emergency services, which is cool.
The Climbers too, right?
Oh, The Climbers. Wu Jing. There's another great example of a Wu Jing movie. When I say patriotism in this film, there's Chinese flags everywhere. And if I remember correctly, there's a bit where they're rescuing all the people and they're bringing them on board the freighter, and everyone's coming on board with a little Chinese flag. I'm like, where'd you get the Chinese flags from? Like, you're in the middle of whatever country you're on. Yeah.
They were giving them to everyone. Like, yeah.
But this is something I've never seen in an American movie. So correct me if I'm wrong, Eric, but there's an emphasis in this film on the 12503 phone number or the 12305 phone number. And there's a message at the end that says if you're a Chinese citizen and if you're ever in trouble, call this number and a wolf warrior will appear out of nowhere and rescue you. Yeah. So when I say patriotism or propaganda type films, that's what I'm referring to. It was a 2.5 hour long advertisement for the Army of the Navy and this phone number.
Fair enough.
My whole rant just gets a fair enough.
Yeah.
No. Right. Your rant is I'm talking about the last point. I'm thinking, should we call that number? Like,
oh boy, I'm not. You guys can try.
I'll get Karen to try it out.
Yeah.
Shoot. But I found it interesting that Simon Yam is in Red Sea.
Yeah, I forgot he was in it. He was only in a very short spot.
But he gets to speak Cantonese. And I turned to my wife and said, wow, that's unusual. They're allowing him to speak Cantonese in this film. So then you realize that, Dante Lamb's a Hong Kong director. The movie was edited in Hong Kong. The special effects were done in Hong Kong. Half of the producers, other than the PLA, were Hong Kong production houses. Emperor Motion Pictures was behind this. So for all intents and purposes, it's a co-production, this film. I can't see Hong Kong audiences going there and going, this is great. Yeah. They're going to sit there going, holy shit, these guys are going to invade us one day. Prophetic. Yeah. And we've got no way to save us.
They think Hong Kong's going to look like that one day.
Well, no, I don't think it will. But what does this movie remind you both of? Is there any other movies that you're reminded of when watching it?
Oh, the only two that I thought of immediately was Black Hawk Down and Saving Private Ryan.
Yeah.
But, besides that, I don't know.
Maybe Black Hawk Down. I only saw pieces of that movie. The one where they're in the desert.
Yeah.
Kind of a rescue type thing, but that's about it.
Yeah.
So now I haven't seen Black Hawk Down, but I have seen I love Saving Private Ryan.
Yeah.
And it was right at the end of the film where they had rescued Mei Ling and she's sitting in the thing. And I thought, oh my God, this is Saving Private Ryan China version. They've just spent almost 3 hours, lost so many people to save one person. That only difference is in Saving Private Ryan, he kind of didn't want to be rescued. He wanted to still fight, whereas she's just, get me the hell out of here. That's the only real difference. But yeah, there is some strong similarities between those two films. But Saving Private Ryan is the far better film.
The point that I thought it was Saving Private Ryan was the point that you have that one scene in Saving Private Ryan. Remember that this German is killing this other soldier, like very slowly, but putting the knife down. Well, I thought that the sniper, not the sniper, but the other guy that had a similar type scene where he had to very, very close combat be with one of the bad guys, where he also basically gets stabbed, although not as graphic as Saving Private Ryan. But that scene reminded me a lot about Saving Private Ryan. That was my link to that movie. Those type of scenes, and of course the brutality of war. But because Saving Private Ryan for us was one of the first movies who showed that. All the other movies before that were glorifying the war, like Nam and stuff like that. And but was it Hamburger Hill?
Is Dante Lamb the big time blockbuster director? Is that just what he's going to be forever remembered as now?
Probably.
The Chinese Michael Bay, maybe. I don't know.
I think his earlier films have so much quality to them, though. I don't think he could ever really degenerate. Well, who knows? Maybe he might degenerate to the point, but yeah, his earlier films are really good. He did a lot of good thrillers.
Yeah. Now, Eric, you've seen The Rescue, right?
Yeah.
Wilco, have you seen The Rescue?
No, I didn't. I think
I think, Eric, you and I had the same issues with The Rescue, is that I believe there was too much emphasis on his private life.
Oh my goodness, it was terrible. Every scene with the kid.
Yeah, the kid. Yeah.
Oh.
And I like it.
I also, what I don't like is Carlos Chan is forever always an idiot in these kind of movies, and he essentially reprises the same role in Raging Fire. Raging Fire. He reprises the same role in it, where he's just this idiot commander doesn't want to listen to anyone. In The Rescue, he's just this idiot newbie that doesn't want to listen to anyone. He's a much better actor than what he's getting credit for. But I want to. We've spoken about the violence in Operation Red Sea. And about a year ago, I was doing some research about Asian movie classifications and the different classification levels in each country. And when I got to China, I shouldn't have been surprised, but I was, that there was no age rating limit. Movies are approved or rejected. And I remember reading about Operation Red Sea was one of the first movies that parents were actually starting to complain about the excessive levels of violence and saying that this has been approved for all ages, but I can't allow my child to watch a film like this. And China has tried to introduce ratings 3 times from my research. The first time was in the 80s. And I believe a cinema in Guangzhou decided to jump the gun and start putting age ratings on films. And then they got summarily fined for misleading advertising. The second time it fell through, and the third time was proposed in that magical year of 2015, which we all know there's a big review, and apparently is still yet to be tabled. And I believe the trailer for Wolverine, when that was released in China, came with a warning that they were not selling tickets to anyone under 8 years old. And
under 8?
Yep. I know. Well, to be fair, they cut about 20 minutes out of the Wolverine, so they trimmed it down a fair bit. But this movie definitely has that emphasis of, why would you take a young child into the cinema to watch this movie? Is this some kind of desensitization from the government? And I know I'm getting into very conspiratorial, and I apologize. Yeah, but is this some kind of effort to desensitize a younger audience?
I think they thought it was honest, and that therefore everyone should be able to see it. I don't know. It's a possibility. I won't throw that up idea away.
Call me crazy, Eric. Come on, call me crazy.
Go on. Say no, Eric. Say you're a lunatic.
Desensitization. I don't know. I'm not sure. I really don't know. I mean, you never know. The people behind the scenes here seem to like change their minds and make illogical decisions. So maybe there was some type of motivation for this particular film, but I can't really say that I necessarily noticed it. But now that you bring it up, it could be a possibility.
I think it's actually the opposite. I think it's more showing that this is what the Americans can do to us. So
Yeah.
maybe, I don't know. That seems more plausible. This is horrible. This is war, and then they go on the media and say America wants to have war with us, and then everybody's like, they want to Red Sea us.
Yeah.
Maybe, I don't know.
I did love some of the technology in this film. I like those drones that explode, the little ones. I thought they were kind of cool, but they seem to have no range. He just seemed to let it fly for 4 seconds and then boom, let it blow up. I also want to call bullshit on the sandstorm. That seemed to be the quickest sandstorm in existence.
Well, you know, the movie needed it. Because they were really losing hard. It's like, how can we get out of it? The writers were like, how can we get out of the situation? They are losing. Yeah. Sandstorm. Good idea.
Still more realistic than the one in Fury Road, though.
Hey, come on, Mad Max. Come on. I did like that they resisted the urge to do the Chinese people look all the same gag by actually having one of the captors realize that the women had swapped spots. And he clued on pretty quick and goes, hold on, who are you? That was quite a nice touch.
Well, they fooled me, though. And you. Because you had to rewind.
Yeah, but I got fooled because they were wearing the same costume and they had the same hairstyle. And I'm like, I don't... Quite
good save. That's why I also didn't see it. That's yeah. No. I noticed it. I just didn't know where the swap was. I only noticed it when she was revealed, and I was like, "Hey, wait a minute, that's someone else." But it's totally understandable because they do look a lot alike because they have the same hair length and they swap the clothes, obviously. But it was confusing that point. Yes, definitely.
And one more thing before we move on. And this is a bit more of a personal, I found a bit funny with the film, was about journalistic freedoms and allowing a journalist to publish and report on whatever they want. And that was the main lady's character, where she had made this big speech about moving to this smaller newspaper because she was going to be allowed the freedom to publish whatever she wants. And I sat there and thought, China, come on. Yeah.
It would be good if then China would say, no, you should work for a big Chinese company because you have all the freedom.
Yeah.
That would be good propaganda.
Well,
the last thing I want to say about Operation Red Sea is the first thing I noticed when the movie started, and I was like, is that the uniform in China? Because those Marine uniforms were all pixelated.
Yeah.
Is that their camouflage? Like, where do they try to, mix in with the Matrix? What is the
pixelated costumes are designed for digital lenses. So because they emphasize, well, this is what I believe digital camouflage is used for. It's that if you've got a drone or a spy from thousands of meters away, not thousands of kilometers, but thousands of meters away, it's probably not going to have the resolution to make out things very clearly. So if your camouflage is pixelated, you kind of blend into the resolution of what the camera is doing, making it hard to spot you. That's what I believe is the purpose of digital camouflage.
Expect a serious answer to that.
Oh shit! Sorry, I didn't realize you're making fun of me.
No, I wasn't making. No. It wasn't. It was more a joke. Like, look at those pixelated uniforms. But I didn't know there was an actual, thought about logical, explanation for that. And I was like, wow, really?
It's like, sorry, Eric, I know you haven't been to China, but I know Wilco has. It's like when you're walking down the street and you see all those propaganda posters, and then you walk up close to them and you realize that they're pixels this big and they're really low quality printouts. Anyway, so overall, like we did with Wolf Warrior, we'll give Operation Red Sea a out of 5 rating. We'll start with you, Eric. What would you like to give it?
I would give both of them a 4 out of 5. I like them both a lot.
Yep. Okay. Wilco?
I cannot say anything about the Mekong movie because I haven't seen that one. But Operation Red Sea, in comparison, also with the Wolf Warrior, I would want to give it a 3 for quality, but I'll give it a 3 out of 5.
Okay, so Red Sea, I'll probably give a 2. Just my general vibe with it, but Mekong would get a 4. I agree with Eric on Mekong. It is a lot of fun. All right, so that becomes the serious discussion of our portion of tonight's episode done.